the Mercedes. I wonder if it drives. Kind of looks like it should. It says pick up anytime. Keys are in the vehicle. Front end damage. Throw it in. Well, still looks good to me.
Wednesday night, clear, low plus 3. Thursday, sunny, 5:13. Thursday night, clear, low plus 3. Friday, sunny, 5:12. Friday night, clear, low plus 3. Saturday, sunny, 5:14.
I'm grabbing a Toyota Tacoma. I need to pull it out first and then flip it around. I'm gonna kind of half tie it down, and then I'll pull it out to right here. Load it up right here. did end up replacing that camera after all, the one that kept dying on me and it wasn't really recharging. I got the upgraded version from the same brand and it works really well. I'm still learning how to use it because it keeps, the screen kind of has like a little bit of a timeout. After a bit it'll just shut off and I gotta tap the power button and it'll turn back on. And the camera, I'm still trying to figure out the on and off with the camera because the old one, it just turned off after you well, you tap the button one time and that was the off button. With this one you need to hold it a certain number of seconds, but it's not always the same, so yeah. Anyway, a few years. What's that?
About 2 months.
Oh yeah, you?
Yeah.
Nice. I think it's got some problems. It's not in gear, but it's acting like it is. E-brake. It's resisting. Oh well. Just gonna drag it out there and flip it around. Anyway. Yeah, it's acting like it's in gear, but it's not supposed to be.
Right?
It's in neutral. It's supposed to be. It's damaged goods. See if it is dragging over here or not. Oh, must have just been locked up. sticky. Good. So I didn't want to drag it out of here. I was gonna anyway, but that's rolling. And if I remember right, there's a max speed you can go. It's 50 miles per hour. I don't really know for sure. I haven't taken the risk. So I'm just gonna flip it around. Doesn't take that much longer. Should give me enough room, not being in anyone's way. Now I'll put the e-brake on, see if it'll. Oh yeah. Had that ring a little too close. Smells like diesel. Good, e-brake holding. Just to make sure I get close. I should keep, it's a short bed. I'll just keep these up here. It's definitely a better camera than the other one. It's just learning the power button is a little bit different, that's all. Right, my pictures. Couldn't get the rear end because it was right up against the wall. I'll just take all new photos. There's no keys. It was stolen. Pretty typical looking for a stolen truck. So now to turn this off, I think I hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll see. See if I'm close enough. Looks good. I think I should move it out a little bit more here. think I'm gonna need bungee. I will need some straps for the front. The steering wheel, because I'm pretty sure the thing is a little messed up. Oh, that's right, I kept it turned on the unlock. That way, yeah, there we go. That way if the strap does come loose, it will lock, which is what I want. There we go. Okay. And they normally don't ever come loose, but just take the precaution anyway. Unless the seatbelt is long enough. Oh, that's for the middle. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I could still use that. Don't always have to use straps. But if the seatbelt is long enough for me to do it, it's not a bad idea. Oh, it's not very tight though. I don't think. Oh, it does roll forward. Okay. Needs to go straight. Oh, I don't think it's long enough. Oh, see, that's why I don't normally do this, because I waste my time trying to figure out if it's long enough or not. And I can just loop these around the steering wheel or on it. It's funny. A little slow this morning. I took apart my my dollies, and the bearing on one of them was completely destroyed. So I got lucky yesterday, really, having that vehicle on the back end of it. So my day started pretty late this morning, even though everything's pretty smooth. You know, none of this is difficult, but you know, notice my brain power is not at the capacity it normally is this morning. I gotta get parts for the likely anyway, yeah, because one bearing is completely shredded, so I need to locate, and I found them anyway, you know, on Zips. I found some parts that are pretty inexpensive. Huh, there is no bars under this seat. Well, it's no wonder it's so light. There's nothing under there. Well, I could always go back here to where this one is. Doesn't really matter. As long as the seat doesn't move, or steering wheel, I mean. Perfect. Probably back that away from the bed a little bit more. I mean, normally I bring it all the way over. Just a little bit away. That's better. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Right. The junk back here. Bunch of stuff back here, and I don't really know if it's gonna move around on me or not. They towed it in here. See how they stole it. Off to the wallet. Oh, interesting day. I got pulled over for the first. It's the first time I've. Well, okay, no, not the first time I've ever been pulled over. It's the second. The first time they thought I purposefully skipped the scale. That's interesting. I would never do that, but this one's even more interesting. It's an unmarked State Patrol, he says, in a red pickup. And he said, "Why didn't you stop?" He asked me why I didn't stop. And I said, "Well, I didn't even see you or hear you until you moved over into the lane, and the lane next to me. He was trying to pass. He didn't have any lights or a siren on, but he was trying to pass me. I was in the fast lane, which I stay in if the traffic next to me is, if I'm going faster than the traffic, which I was at the time, over here in Bremerton, I believe. Yeah, the speed's 50 miles an hour. I was going 55, roughly. I was speeding up to go up a hill, up to 55. I usually don't go faster than 5 over because of the law. Yeah, I guess he moved over into the lane next to me trying to pass. And, as I was speeding up, and then put his lights and siren on. So then, of course, I'm here, pulled over now. I'm sure he doesn't want to be here either, but it is interesting that he asked me why I didn't stop, and he didn't have any lights or a siren on. But anyway, yeah, very interesting. We'll see how it goes. I've got all the right paperwork and stuff. Oh, he's coming back. Well, at least he didn't give me anything for quote-unquote not stopping. He said he was behind me for a while, which, yeah, I saw him pull out. He was on the side of the road. I saw him pull out, and I did actually suspect he may have been a police officer, just because he pulled out right after I passed by him. Just because I was going around the slow traffic. But anyway. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's no key for the truck. Well, it's a little bit further than I would have wanted. Now it's funny, even though he was saying all that stuff about the transporter plate, I've asked a couple people about it, and they have no idea what he's talking about. Isn't that funny? Because I guess, like he said, I asked him if people were using them, and he said no. So, interesting. I'm just grateful I didn't get a ticket for, something I didn't do or know about. I still don't have any tickets, so it's nice to not get one. I'm grateful for that, but definitely only a little odd, because I know it. Anger makes people do things they wouldn't ordinarily do. And I know he was trying to pass me, and I was in the fast lane going the speed limit, and people in the right-hand lane were going slower than I was. They were in a line of traffic. So, and once he realized he couldn't pass me, that's when I saw the lights and heard the siren. So, I don't know if that was all it was about or not. It's a good question. And probably never know, so. Just happy to not have a ticket. And you know, he seemed like a nice guy anyway, but and I could be wrong about something, you know, maybe, I mean, you could have something right in front of your face and not see it, so maybe he did have his lights on and his siren, and I just couldn't hear or see it. But you know, I'm almost I'm 99.9% sure though that they weren't on until he got into the lane next to me. No big deal either way. I at least had everything on me, even if that plate wasn't mounted to the vehicle on the back. I know the person here I asked about it said no, you don't need a plate on the back of that truck. That doesn't make any sense. So who knows? Either way, he said I could just mount it to the tow truck, so I'm just going to do that, and then yeah, go from there. If anyone says anything, then I'll just advise them on what I was told by that guy. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I guess I'm gonna go forward right here so I'm not blocking the area. So I'm putting it right there at the end of the row. I'm just gonna end up blocking the drive-through spot right there. And then people look at me like they're in a hurry, because they are, you know, I'm sure. At least this one runs and drives. That's nice. And then after this, I'm taking a Ram to a residence. Don't know if they bought it or if they're getting it back. Still got that plate on the back of that truck. That's another reason why I'm going to mount it to the tow truck, because it's just one more thing that I'm putting on another vehicle that I'm going to have to remember to remove after I'm done. Put those back in here. I may not have. I don't think I did. Nope, I didn't. I was taking apart my dollies this morning. found out that one of the bearings on the dolly was completely shredded apart and in pieces. So, yeah. I'm glad tows yesterday worked out. Yeah, that was crazy to see the bearing after taking that dolly wheel off. It looked like the hub was working itself out off the spindle a little bit, and the nut was slightly loose. The castle nut was slightly loose on it as well, and it was right at the edge of the cotter pin. So I don't know if anyone's actually seen that before. I haven't. It was the first time I ever took a bearing out of a hub. I'd never done that before, so that was interesting to do. It looks like all the bearings are probably bad. I mean, I'm gonna take apart the other set when I get home and check it. But if only it was just April Fool's and I was just messing with my boss. That would have been real funny. But no, sorry about. Yeah, that's a lot further apart than it seemed. I'm glad a few other people told me that this makes no sense to put this the requirement anyway to put this back here. Because yeah, I never see anybody with one of these on the back. And I've seen other plates on tow trucks, but I've never seen a second license plate that people are putting on the back of a vehicle that they're towing. Never ever seen that. Never heard of it. I'm sure somebody will mention it, you know, knows what they're talking about. Maybe knows what they're talking about, I don't know. Because apparently it's not that common. But speaking of people who know what they're talking about, I got my first critical comment last night on one of my videos, which I think is awesome, by the way. Like, it doesn't in the way that it means something to me, it really doesn't mean anything to me, but it is, I think it's awesome, you know, in either way. I'm totally cool with the criticism because I just see it as a comment. As a matter of fact, when he said it, I'm assuming it's a he. When he said it, I was like, what is he talking about? I need to go watch that part of the video to see what he's actually mentioning, because I don't recognize right away. But I guess in the beginning of the video I was picking up a blue car. It was a Honda HR-V, which I rarely ever have to put on a wheel lift. I almost never tow Honda HR-Vs. I don't remember the last one I ever towed. But so when I lifted it up on the wheel lift, it started pouring what appeared to be oil out, because the drive axle, and I don't even know if that's what it's called, but I'm calling it the drive axle, on one of the wheels was pulled out. So it was just an open hole there on the side, and fluid was just pouring out of it once I lifted it up. And I kind of moved it back and forth because I was looking for movement in the driveline to see if it was going to be turning or not, because that's an all-wheel drive vehicle. But if it's anything like the Honda CR-Vs, which is what I was assuming it wasn't going to move, and instead the wheels would just spin freely because there's no electricity going to the transmission, and so the wheels will just spin in neutral. Basically, they're neutral wheels; they just roll free. So once I noticed that, I put it down a little bit further, and in his comment, he was like, "Why would you keep lifting it up, letting fluid spill all over the road, and why wouldn't you just put it down a little?" Which was interesting, because once I thought, because it wasn't even really a thought in my mind. I mean, that was probably the last thing I would have ever considered, fluid on the side of the road, just because which is why it wasn't on my mind, and why I didn't even remember what he was actually talking about, even though I just uploaded the video not that long ago. But I mean, when you're doing this kind of work, and you're towing cars that are wrecked, I mean, almost all of them with, the underside being damaged or the engine being damaged, as soon as you lift them up, fluids, if they haven't already poured out completely, they tend to leak. And sometimes, even when they don't, and they're on my bed, they'll leak out on the trip, and they'll just be all over the bed, the fluid and stuff will be all over the bed and all over the tail end of the truck. It happens so often that it's not even a thought in my mind, to prevent that from happening. And I responded to his comment, because I thought about it. And if what he said made sense to me, of course I would have went along with that, but it didn't make any sense after I'd thought about it, because I was like, well, if that didn't pour out right there on the side of that road, that's not really a busy road, it's just a small neighborhood road. And that road is tapered into the curb there, so it's just going to get washed out anyway, in the rain and whatever. It's going to return back to the earth. If that didn't happen, then that would have been probably sloshing out on every right turn that I would have made, and I towed that thing for over 80 miles. So better that it went out there instead of on the highway, or on a busy street, in the middle of the street even, where it would have just been an oil slick, for somebody else to get into an accident, like that one, possibly. So, yeah, interesting though. I love the comments, even if they are critical, or trying to be critical anyway, of the way I'm doing things. Yeah, it wasn't even remotely on my mind at all. I just saw fluid coming out, and I was like, oh wow, there's some more fluid coming out. It happens almost, well, it happens at least twice a week, not necessarily just like that, but quite often, it happens, because the cars are totaled, they're wrecked. So even when they're being towed there to that property, I guarantee you the tow truck driver's not going, oh, I hope this fluid doesn't spill out onto the road. They're probably not even thinking about that at all, because it's just not a part, unless you're doing the highway recovery stuff or the accident response stuff, which I don't do. The average driver, and I am assuming here, just because I know people here who do it. The average guy is not. That's not even on their mind at all about a spill. If anything, the property owners are a little concerned sometimes, like, please don't start it, which I do respect that. If there's a car on their property and they go, hey, can you please not start the car because it's leaking fluid and I don't want it all over my driveway or in my gravel or whatever, right? That 100%, I totally get that, and I respect that. I go along with that. I follow, even though I don't have to, but I do go along with that just out of respect for them. But if it's anything other than that, no, it's not even remotely a thought in their minds at all, or mine. But anyway, yeah, I love the comments. I don't know. More the merrier. I'll respond to whichever one it makes sense to respond to all of them, I think. I mean, I've seen a couple nonsensical ones that I just ignored and blocked, like a cryptocurrency one, and there was another one that came up. It was like during the first couple weeks of me posting videos, but you don't see those there anymore. But anyway, yeah, feel free to comment, even if it's a criticism, even if you think it's something I'm doing wrong. I'm totally cool with that, because I love, because I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I know there are experts out there who maybe they got a better way of doing something, and for whatever reason they're hung up on however I'm doing it. I'm totally cool with hearing that. It don't bother me one bit, because I know how to take it all the right way, and that's not personal. So anyway, I'm gonna get this Ram picked up and then on to Olympia. Says keys, yes, runs and starts. Oh, is there just no window? Oh, okay, there's just no window. That's why they have this. So then... Oh, is it just... Oh, no, it's not. There's two keys here. Maybe this one. Ah! Is there any power at all? No power. Oh, it shifts. Okay. So then I'll hook it up and just roll it up in neutral. I'm gonna go back further on this one. So I'm gonna go back to the frame. Oh, I guess I had a fair amount of strap or strap. And then switch line. Where's that crowbar? There it is. Probably gonna need a new winch line here shortly. I guess I need more. Size a little bit different. And it's got the fuel tank. And then I'll go right there instead. Oh, e-brake doesn't work. Plenty of room. Make sure that's not going to grab into there. And this thing is still on. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's how much you do it. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Still learning that one. Make sure I'm still good in the front. Yeah, lots of room. See if those, that license plate is zip tied. It's just sitting up here. It's just sitting up here. Okay. And I leave them there all the time and they never fall off, but just don't want to take the chance of one falling off. next to the black Dodge Dakota. Okay. Well, I'll see if I can jump it then. And then, yeah. Get it off of here. I'll do that. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So if I go ahead and let's see if I can jump it. They would like it parked next to that Dodge Dakota. And the only way I'm doing that without it being sideways is pulling it off of here. And then, yeah, parking it. So, that's a... See if it jumps. Hi. I'm gonna see if I can jump start it. Because he wants it parked right there, right?
Yeah, here.
Yeah. I'll see if I can jump start it and then just back it in.
Okay, that's great.
That way it's not going this way. Yeah, we'll see. It says it runs and drives and starts. Let's see, I'll check it first. If I can fit. And if I can get the hood open. The hood might be a problem. Key out. It's not using any battery. Hood might be a little bit of an issue. Because I don't think The battery is completely dead, it seems. Second battery? Nope. Well, I'm not thinking. Nope. Battery is completely toast. Or at least my jumper says it's dead. Oh, that's why I didn't finish unchaining it. So it's going sideways. They left the key in the ignition. It's quite common for these cars to be dead. Depending on how long they've been at the yard anyway. And I don't know how long this one has been at the yard. What do you think, right here?
What's that?
Is this gonna be a good spot right here?
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah. Is that gonna be a good spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is hoping that it would go this way, but if you can just do it this way, that's fine.
Yeah,
too.
because there's not a whole lot of room
Yeah.
with both of us anyway, both the truck and me.
Right. Yeah.
But-
Exactly.
Yeah, this is the safest bet
As
here.
long as it's off the road in there, I'm happy.
It looks like the battery just died when it was at the yard, so because it's not even reading on my jumper at all with anything.
He said he thinks
They had the key. They had the key sitting in the ignition.
Oh, the key
So-
was sitting in the ignition, so maybe. It was
I'm assuming it's quite
on
common.
accessory.
It's pretty common.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's
assuming
why.
it just completely drained.
He was like, it should be just fine. I'm like,
Yeah, and it says it on the sticker too that it runs and drives and starts,
oh,
but
yeah. So,
yeah, I'm sure it did when it first arrived.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's been sitting there.
Just a couple days.
Yeah. Key on probably. Straighten out a little bit more so it's not in that little That little, yeah, that's better. Because I don't want it to be, yeah. It should. Might have something to do with the door too. The door's a little loose. Oh, it's not that much at all. I want it a little bit more. I want it to move over more than that. Hope that's all right. I want to make sure you had room all the way around. You know, the back and the front.
He should be fine. He's almost there. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And the license plate is on the passenger seat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they pull it off and they usually have it sitting under the windshield wiper. But I took it off and stuck it on the passenger seat.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks.